Following an offseason that saw much change in the land of the Sacramento Kings, the Kings prepare to tip off the 2020-2021 season, and we're talking about it right now here on the Kings Quarters podcast with Evan and Jay. That's Evan Hicks. I'm Jason
guys?
Courier. And if you're a big Kings fan like we are, please click that subscribe button on the realm that you're listening to us on today. And if you're really liking what you're hearing, please take a moment to rate, review, and pass this thing on. Share it with a friend, a fellow Kings fan. Tonight we're going to talk about the upcoming season. We're going to talk about we're each going to have our top 5 things that we are looking forward to this upcoming season, as well as our top thing that we picked from the preseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, preseason went really good for us. I thought we had a great preseason. Honestly, I was really stoked on the squad, the new squad.
I was.
Good. The Monty squad, the Monty
McNair team. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the much change that I mentioned earlier was, of course, Vlade Divac. The biggest change that was in Sacramento Kings land was Vlade Divac, of course, being let go by the Sacramento Kings.
I'm stoked on the Monty McNair hire, though. I really think that could be a really cool pickup for us, Jason. I'm super excited about that. As far as
I do
he came
too.
from the Rockets, winning culture. He's going to bring winning culture, hopefully, to Sacramento. We hope and pray. I mean, we'll see how that goes. But
hopefully he's allowed to actually do his job.
That's for another podcast. We'll see that one for another podcast for sure. I don't know. We'll see about that.
Yeah, we should definitely say that one for another podcast. Well, let's get right into it and talk about speaking of the preseason. What was your number one thing that you took away from the preseason?
I want to say seeing Tyrese Halliburton out there on the floor, seeing him being defensive, seeing him show a lot of quickness and agility out there. I think he's going to pair great with De'Aaron. I think that he could definitely give some guards out there trouble on the floor for sure. Absolutely. I really know. I'm just seeing our new draft pick and what he can do and his abilities and just kind of getting a preview of what he could be for us. I don't know. That was the most exciting thing for me. What do you think, Jay?
He seems to really have just a really good feel for the game, which is exciting. Often you see guys come in and they're really good athletes and pretty good basketball players, and they become better basketball players. Well, he seems to be a really good basketball player just on both sides of the ball. He just seems to have such a really good feel for everything.
We stole him. I've heard multiple different sources just be like, everyone should have got him at that spot, and we just lucked out that he fell to us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I sure hope so. It's been a while since the Kings had a really good draft, and
also in the preseason, I was really excited to see Marvin Bagley see the floor. I was really excited to see that. That
would be my number one if it wasn't for Halliburton, or maybe it should be the other way around. See, the thing is with Bagley, I know he's very talented.
Mm-hmm.
He just can't seem to stay healthy yet at this point in his career.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what's out there. I know what is in Marvin Bagley. I know that he's talented. With Tyrese, I didn't know. You don't know as a rookie coming in what he's going to look like. You can look at all the highlights and everything you want in college, but you just don't. You never know until you see him actually get on an NBA floor. And I know it was only preseason, but it was exciting to see him actually play good basketball. Mm-hmm. Again, on both ends of the floor, he just seems to really have just a really good feel for the game. And
Jason, how about Buddy Hield and how yoked he looks, man? He just
Buddy.
been hitting that weight room hard. That's going to help him be shoving other guards out of the way. He's going to be on that defensive end just muscling people.
I hope so.
Bullying people. Call him Bully Buddy now. Buddy the bully
Buddy.
now. Buddy the bully. He's going to come in there and shove people around now. He's all yoked out, man. It was great to see him try to distribute the ball a little bit better.
He actually has distributed the ball quite a bit better than he ever has, really. He's had one turnover coming into the third or the fourth preseason game. I'm not even sure if he had a turnover in that game.
Well, that's exciting to see for him because he always would be had those frying pan hands where he just couldn't hang on to it but
and he would always have those moments in each game where you just want to slap your forehead and just, what are you doing out there, buddy?
him getting more minutes, him getting him being more of a leader, I think that's really gonna give him more confidence and enable him to just empower him to be a different player, take that next step that we want to see from him this season for sure.
Turns out he had 3 turnovers.
Hey, that's not too bad. I'm gonna say out of 4 preseason games, he had 3 turnovers.
He had 4 altogether.
Okay, that's not bad. I'll take that.
Because he had 1 coming in. He only had 1 assist and 3 turnovers in the 4th preseason game.
I can deal with that. I can deal with that. Especially in the Blazers series, he had great shooting. He shot really, really well. So.
Yeah, he didn't shoot the ball. He just didn't play very well in that 4th preseason game. It just wasn't his game. It just wasn't. He shot the ball terribly and turned the ball over, which he hasn't turned the ball over all preseason, and he's been kind of up and down on his shooting. But he's Buddy. He's gonna make his shots. It was nice to see the pace that the team seemed to play with. I think that's when Buddy is at his best, is when they're out there running and you can get him out there in the open floor. And I think that Tyrese Halliburton looks really good in the open floor. So you've added a piece to a team that, as much as I loved Bogey, Dave Yeager, it was like his last press conference, I think, of the year. And it was that press conference where he just pretty much let go. He knew he probably knew he was being fired. So he just kind of let go. And he mentioned in that press conference that maybe Bogey wasn't quite a great fit in that up and down type style that they ran that year. And I think that Halliburton, who's going to pretty much fill that role that Bogey filled last year in being kind of the backup point guard, kind of backup 2 guard, kind of just a combo guard coming off the bench. I think that he fits better in an up and down faster tempo style than Bogdan did.
With like his ISO ball and like, his more like I think that
he just seems to be better in the open court too. It's hard to explain. He just seems better. He's better at playing the passing lanes and getting steals and getting the team out on the open floor. He seems very good when things get a little chaotic and start to move. What you would think, because when you watch him, he looks like he moves a little slow out there. Mm-hmm. So you would think that when it gets a little chaotic and the tempo starts to pick up, that would be a detriment to his game. But he's actually really good when things get a little crazy, and he's a playmaker.
They're going to get back to that pace, too. I want to see him get back to that pace, and they will. They're going to get back to that, what was it? Just 2 seasons ago, right? Right before Luke Walton came into the picture, I think. Mm-hmm. They were so fast. Everyone was talking about how they were so fast. They were getting praise from Dwayne Wade. They were getting praise from Draymond Green. Everyone's like, man, we're tired after we play them.
Mm-hmm. So, and then they just went away with it when Luke got there because he thought he could make them a defensive team that would then be out on the break, but it was
all half court. Like it was all like it got to the half court, then it stayed there. It just wasn't. Yeah, I like him way better off the fast breaks, capitalizing on the fast breaks. Those lob passes like way far down, like to a Marvin Bagley or perhaps to a Hassan Whiteside. You know what I mean? That's going to be fun to see.
That probably should be one of our things that we took from the preseason that we liked, was just the pace of the way the Kings played. They just played at a better pace than they did last year, it seems to me.
For sure. Yep.
Now we're going to get into our top 5 things that we are looking forward to in the 2020-2021 season from our Sacramento Kings. Again, we're just some normal, average, everyday guys. He sprays bud for a living. I do loans for a living. We're just average, normal dudes.
Well, we love that team. We love our team.
We have no connection to the Kings. You're not going to see any interviews on our show.
Other than we're just going to be watching the crap out of the season and just trying to explain it to y'all, break it down for y'all,
So here are our 5 things that we're looking forward to coming up in the 2020-2021 season.
Number 5, I'm really curious to see if we keep Buddy Hield, if that's going to be a thing. I love Buddy. I think he's a dope player. I mean, obviously having shooting that is top 5 caliber in the NBA is extremely valuable and extremely coveted right now. So if we can keep him, I think that'd be great. Now that he's getting the starter minutes, hopefully he'll be happy and he'll really want to stick around and do his thing. I know that he wanted to be a starter and he did not like coming off the bench. And now hopefully when he is a starter, he's going to want to be happy. And I'm looking forward to seeing Buddy Hield stick around. Let's do that.
A happy Buddy Hield would be nice.
Mm-hmm. Happy Buddy's a good buddy. I like that buddy.
right.
All right. Number 4, I'm really wanting to see Luke Walton really grab this team and kind of shape into what he really wants to see out there. I want him to see him put his imprint on this. I want to give him more time. I mean, there's a lot of haters and a lot of skeptics. I think that he hasn't had enough time with our young core. He did really good with where he's been before with his young cores. He's done great with the Warriors. He did with there with the Lakers. I think he can be great with us too. I just think he needs to really put his imprint, and so we can see what he can do under Monty McNair being our GM, and we'll see what's up with Luke Walton. That's number 1 for sure.
It's going to be interesting to see that dynamic and the way, because Monty, when he was in Houston, that was a part of his deal, was that he was the front office guy that was the relationship guy between the front office and the coaching staff. So it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic and how he works. I know that Luke was a Vlade guy. I mean, they're best friends. They're super tight, super close. They played together in LA. Like they were a duo. So to see how Monty builds that relationship with a guy that's not his guy is going to be really interesting, and I think really important to not only to the season but to the development of these young guys that he's got, like De'Aaron and Tyrese and Marvin Bagley and all their young guys. They're all going to need some development still, and it's going to be interesting to see how that relationship works, because if that foundation isn't there, then that, to me, that affects the way those young guys are going to develop. And if you don't have that foundation, you're not starting off on the right
culture.
foot.
The culture.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And that's been the biggest thing for years.
With this. All right. So I want to say that my number 3 probably would be to see De'Aaron Fox get a little bit more stay aggressive when he's driving to the paint and get more and actually make his free throws. We need to see that happen for sure.
Yes,
that's got to be really a huge thing. With his athleticism and the way he plays that's so aggressive and hard, we definitely should see him go to the line a lot. And if he's making those points, he's going to be in the upper echelon tier of guards, like scoring for sure. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to see that. I think we need to see that. That's very, very important to me.
And if he would make more of his free throws, I think he would be more aggressive. I think they would go hand in hand, because even if it's just a mental thing, that you're not going to continue to attack the basket to go to the free throw line to miss your free throws or to split your free throws.
Let's go number 2. My number 2 thing. My number 2 thing I want to see happen is I'm curious what we're going to do in the offseason. Who's staying? Who's going? What are we really doing here? I know this is a team that probably doesn't have a lot of expectations as far as a win percentage. We're probably not going to win more than maybe 38 games. I'm just being realistic. You know what I mean? I would love to say that's higher, but I know we're just kind of building toward what we're doing.
But even that's kind of hefty.
I mean, that's probably way hefty, but I'm thinking in that tier, like 35. I want to say 35, 38. I think we could do that. I want to stick with that. I'm going to go ahead and say right now on King's Quarters that I say 35, 38, just right there, maybe. I'm going to be really, really overly optimistic because I'm just a big old gushy, mushy fan. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to say 35, 38 wins, somewhere right around there, if we have Marvin Bagley playing, if Marvin Bagley's playing at a high level.
Right.
And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and segue into my number one, Marvin Bagley. That's my number 1 thing I want to see this season. I would love to see Bags, my guy, just take a big old step. I want to see him get most improved player, like Matt George said on his little rap song. I want to see that. Shout out to Matt George, by the way. That was legit that you did that song. But yeah, I really think that I want to see my guy Bags just get it. I want to see him average a double-double. I want to see him play more than 20 games in a row this season. Right. I want to see him stay healthy for the majority of this season. That's what I would like to see, my number 1 thing.
Yes. Right.
Jason, you got to let me know. What's up with you, man? You got to tell me.
All right, so here's my top 5 things that I want to see from the upcoming 2020-2021 season. My number 5 thing is how the front court minutes are going to be distributed. Marvin Bagley and Rashad Holmes combination didn't really look all that great in the preseason. They didn't seem to really blend together all that well. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be even the starters. Are they going to put Belly in there at one of the spots to try to get somebody in there that's got a little bit more skill to him and can make an outside shot? Is Jabari Parker going to be healthy? Is he going to be a part of that? Is is Belly going to be a big part of it? Even if he isn't a starter, is he going to be a part of that? Are they going to play Harrison Barnes at the 4 some minutes? What are they going to do with that whole group? That's something I'm very curious about as far as what's coming on and what Luke's gonna do with the guys that he's got, because he's got a lot of bodies. He's got a lot of bodies, and he's got
big bodies.
He's got a lot of big bodies that have some potential. So that would be one of my things. That's my number 5 thing is minute distribution and who's going to start, who's going to finish, who's going to get the majority of the minutes. Is Jabari Parker going to be healthy and get some of those minutes? Even if he is healthy, is he still going to get some of those minutes? And as you mentioned, approaching the trade deadline, are any of those guys going to get moved for another piece? Does Belly hold some value as a veteran shooter? Kind of swing forward, stretch 4. Yeah, I think he does. On a contender, I think he does add some value. And he's an expiring contract, so I think that's someone that we could see moved. Jabari Parker still has a shit ton of potential. He's one of those guys that's never been able to stay healthy. If he comes out and plays and shows that he's healthy, does he have some value? He's another guy that's on an expiring deal that a contender might want to pick up, that's looking to kind of beef up their front court a little bit. Rashad Holmes, if he continues to not look that great next to Marvin Bagley, do you think about moving on from him and getting some kind of value for him?
Rashawn, though, you seen that 3-point shot he took in the preseason, though? It looked pretty good, right? Like, I want to see him do some of that. That could be kind of cool.
Pretty hit and miss.
Just adding that to his tool shed. Why not? Just like coming to work with his hard hat.
Oh, I love the building of the game and trying to improve himself and become more skilled, because that's exactly what the Kings need there. They need somebody that can actually. It'd be nice if Marvin could shoot a little bit better than he does, at a little bit higher clip than he does.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
He's getting there.
Seeing the floor.
I think he'll get there. So, my number 4 thing that I am most looking forward to in the 2020-21 season from our Sacramento Kings would be Buddy Hield. How is he going to be? Is he going to be happy Buddy? Is he going to be bad Buddy? Which Buddy Hield are we going to get? We know we got Buff Buddy.
Buckets. We got Buff Buddy.
We got Buff Buddy. We know that. He is yoked. But how deep does his unhappiness with Sacramento run? Is it one of those things where, as the starter, which he is now, with Bogey gone, he's got a clear path to be the starter. He's obviously going to be the starter. Is that the extent of his unhappiness in Sacramento? Was it he just wasn't starting and now is the starter? Is he going to be happy Buddy again and going to be the Buddy that was the fringe all-star player that we saw just a couple of years ago? And is he going to be that Buddy? Or does it run a little deeper, and is he just doesn't get along with Luke, and it doesn't matter what, like which Buddy are we gonna get? What are we gonna see out of Buddy, and is he gonna be happy Buddy?
Man, I hope we get the previous instead of the latter, man. I'm hoping we get happy jolly Buddy. I'm thinking we will. You know, I feel like the new front office we have in place really does want to cater around our superstar we just signed to a big old fat contract. I really do think that, and Monty McNair coming from the Houston Rockets probably really values shooting, so I'm sure there'll be a emphasis to please Buddy and make him happy. I'm sure that's probably going to be
I would think.
Thing,
because if you don't have Buddy, you don't have a lot of shooting.
Don't really have a lot of anything. I mean, Buddy's a very valuable piece in our core.
He's become, with
sure.
Bogdan moving on, he's become very valuable to this team now and what they do, because De'Aaron certainly hasn't taken a step up it seems, in his 3-point shooting during
Yeah,
the,
no, we didn't see a
it's
good
been a little
De'Aaron.
rough.
We did not see a good version of De'Aaron in the preseason. But you
No.
know, we did see a good version of Buddy Hield in the
Yes, we
preseason.
did.
And we saw some new tools he's got in his tool set, new tools he's got in his tool belt, his Batman belt. It's got more utilities, more utilities in his
belt.
utility belt. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm excited for Buddy too. That's a great one, Jay, for sure.
Well, thank you. All right. And speaking of that, my number 3 thing is De'Aaron Fox and improving his shooting percentage. Most importantly, as you mentioned, improving his free throw percentage. Please, please, please stop splitting your free throws. I'm tired of seeing that. De'Aaron last year, it seemed like every time he went to the line, you could pretty much book it that he was going to split those free throws.
Mm-hmm. And like with those the John Morant comparisons, man, you got to step it up. You got to step it up, man. You got ESPN people hating on you and like comparing you to John Morant. He's
out of the blue, just throwing hate on.
You got to son John Morant. You got to make sure you get those the three free throws. We can't be splitting those three free throws. No way.
Yeah,
like,
that has to improve. The free throw percentage has to improve. I think, again, like I said when you mentioned it, that if you improve the percentage, then you improve the confidence in attacking, and then I think you bump up your scoring by, 5 points a game?
All the way up. All the way up.
You could be a different level. He could be a 23, 24 point per game scorer if he just shot the ball a little better.
Mm-hmm. No, we need it. We need to see it. We got to see it. Absolutely, 1,000%. We just signed that big old contract. He is the forefront of the franchise. He's the face of the franchise. I want to see him take that leap this year. Absolutely. No,
and there were several shots in the game in the preseason that it wasn't like he was forcing 3-point shots and not making them. They were shots that he had to take within the offense, that he was wide ass open and had to take the shot kind of shots, and he just wasn't making them.
Yeah, he didn't have a good preseason, but he's going to have an excellent regular season. I bet you for sure.
The shot didn't look bad. Some of the results looked a little rough, but his shot doesn't look bad. He's got good form about his shot. So I would imagine that like I said, I just wish he would start with the free throws, bump that free throw percentage up. We'll worry about the 3-point shooting later. My number 2 thing that I am looking forward to this season, the 2020-21 season from the Sacramento Kings, is Mr. Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very excited about this young man.
Number 0.
He's only 19 years old, so he's got some developing to do in terms of his body and his NBA body, but his game looks like he is a basketball player.
He's going to go out there and ball, man. He had a great assist and rebound ratio, too. He wasn't just like, he scored a little bit.
A little bit of everything, kind of dude.
Steals, too, even. Like, so he's going to give you a whole bunch as a guard in that backcourt.
I, of course, love that he wanted to be in Sacramento. Sacramento Kings fans, we always love guys that actually want to be here.
And he fits in with our nerdy backcourt.
He fits in with our nerdy backcourt.
He loves to play video games, man. Like, De'Aaron likes to play video games. Buddy, he'll be watching anime.
Right.
Like, no, we got a super cool nerdy backcourt. Tyrese Halliburton go fit right in there.
Fits right in with the guys,
right in there.
Yeah.
I want to see a small ball lineup
with
Buddy, like maybe playing a little bit of 3, especially now that he bulked up. But he can shove some people around at the 3. I could see it happening. I really would like to see that.
If they play with some pace, then you definitely could see it.
I would love that. I would love
with
that.
De'Aaron and Tyrese.
Yeah, Tyrese at the 2. Tyrese at the 2. Like, Tyrese could do that. I feel like if he keeps balling out like he balled out in the preseason during the regular season against like some of these more top tier guards, like I would love to see that small ball lineup with Tyrese out there.
I think you could see Harrison Barnes in that lineup playing the 4 too, and you'd be even better.
Super speedy small ball. I love it.
Super speedy and small. Then you could get away with playing a guy like Hassan Whiteside and
athletic big,
just have him be out there and be a big guy, and if he's your only big and on the floor,
block them shots.
Then some of his negativity on the others, on the defensive side, where he can't really switch out and do a lot of those type things, kind of gets covered up a little bit by him being the only big guy on the floor. Could work.
I think it would work. I think it'd be awesome. I think we got some.
I think we could see some of that. What I also think we could hope we see some of is Marvin Bagley in that lineup playing.
Oh yeah,
playing the 5 in that lineup.
I would love that. That would be a fast.
That would be even better, and that would also mean that we're watching a healthy Marvin Bagley this year. That is my number one thing that I am looking forward to seeing this season is a healthy Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, you know.
I am to the point where he doesn't even have to play that great. Just play. Just be on the floor.
I got back.
If you go out there and you average 10 points and 5 rebounds a game, I don't give a shit if you played 72, if he played 60 games. They're playing 72 this year instead of the normal 82. So if he played 60 games this year, wouldn't you be happy?
I would love to
just
see
missed
that.
12
I would
games?
love to see that. Shout out to my guy back.
Because he's going to miss some games just because, if anything, because the medical staff isn't going to let him play every game. There's going to be some back-to-backs that they're going to force him to not play.
That sucks.
Which is going to suck because we're going to see quite a few back-to-back
Play the young
games
man.
this
Take
year.
the kid gloves off. Take the kid gloves off.
I don't
Play
think
the
you
man.
can
You know,
yet.
give him a minute restriction. Let him come out with a minute restriction. Let him play the games. I really think he needs to be on the floor. He needs to see the floor. Because if he doesn't have any time playing with our guys, with all the new people,
I
you know,
agree, but at the same time, like I said, there's going to be a lot of back-to-back games this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that he's going to play in a lot of the second of the back-to-backs or the first of the back-to-backs. I just don't see him playing a lot of back-to-back nights.
It's just so important this particular year with him because, like, if we don't have something in Marvin, if he's so fragile that he can't stay healthy and we can't use him, should we pay him? Probably not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we probably should think about what we're going to do. And I think that breaks my heart to say that, you know, him being the drafted number 2 overall. But, you know, if he can't stay healthy and we can't see what he's going to do, we're going to give him a big old fat contract to stick around and see what he can or cannot do for longer periods of time. I don't want to say that, and it breaks my heart.
I think you do, though. I think the Kings would, and you do make that move because at that point, let's say that this year and next year, because the Kings have already picked up their option on him next year.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say worst case scenario for the next 2 years, he's still fighting with injuries a little bit. I think if you're the Sacramento Kings, I think you still re-sign him because you can't at that point, you can't walk with him that long and be patient with him for that long and then give up on him. Kind of like they did Harry Giles. You just can't.
Ooh, shots fired.
You just can't do that with bigs. You just don't.
But you know what? Like, so take the kid gloves off. Let him play. Let him play this season. Let him ball out and see what he can do. You know what I mean? And, you know, if he gets injured again, then you know, oh, man, again, like, you know, you don't put him out, you know, throw him to the dogs. You give him minute restrictions and, you know, you handle him a little bit, but you don't, you know.
He'll definitely be on a minute restriction.
I want to see him play,
You know
though.
that.
I want to see him be playing not a night, you know, on the games. I want to see him play in the games. I do not want to see him, oh, he's resting because he's just fragile and we're just like, you know, I don't want to see that. I do not want to see, hopefully.
Yeah.
But bags, yes, number 1. Both are number
that's
1s,
my-
right?
it is
both
both
are
of my
number
number
1s.
ones.
Bags. We want to see Marvin Bagley. That's our guy. Like,
Healthy
for
Marvin
sure.
Bagley, please.
That's
A
our
healthy
guy.
Marvin
Love
Bagley.
you, Bagley. You're the guy, man. Hey, shout out to Behind It All. That CD is dope. That CD is amazing.
Yeah,
Great
his
CD.
new project.
Mhm.
I've seen him improve as a rapper and a music maker. Now I want to see his improvement on the floor and see him improve.
Keep flourishing, young man. You balling out this year. I can't wait to see it.
This is it. This is your year. So, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you guys listening to the very first episode of King's Quarters podcast with Evan and Jay. Again, please click that subscribe button on the realm that you're listening to us on today. And if you could please give us a like, rate, review, and share with a friend. If you could please pass on the word. Again, we're going to try to post weekly.
Yep.
That's
Let's do that. Yep.
that's
We're
the
going to do
plan.
that.
We're going to more than likely record on Saturdays and post on Sundays because it usually takes me a little bit to get it done and get it out and edit it and to you folks. So thank you again for listening. We'll see you next week.